Solving multi-step equations, lesson 8 notes, the review. The review is a separate assignment, so what you need to do is go into Schoology, find the Solving Multi-Step Equations notes review, upload it to Notability, complete it there, and then resubmit it to Schoology. So let's move on to the lesson. This lesson is on solving multi-step equations. Yesterday you were given the assignment Solving Two-Step Equations worksheet number 3. It was worksheet number 3 because we have done solving equations since the beginning of the year. It was the third lesson we did, and it was the third worksheet on solving two-step equations. So what we're going to do today is just an expansion of what you've already done. So you already have a foundation of how to solve equations. We're just going to make the problems a little bit more difficult. Okay, so here are the steps for solving multi-step equations. The first step is the distributive property. Now, it's not to say that every single problem is going to have the distributive property, but the first thing you want to look for is the distributive property. The second thing you want to look for is combining like terms. Again, not every problem you're going to have to combine like terms, but those are the things you want to look for first. And what makes these steps special is the fact that you want to keep the sides of the equation separate. In other words, what you do, you'll do everything you possibly can on one side of the equation, and then you'll do everything you possibly can on the other side of the equation before you combine sides. So I want you to take a moment, and I want you to pause this video and write all of this down. Remember, to get full credit, you must write everything down. Okay, step 3 is to use addition or subtraction to move variable terms to one side of the equation and constant terms to the other side of the equation. In order to solve, we want all our variable terms on one side and all the constant terms on the other side. And then the last step is to use either multiplication or division to isolate the variable. Now, once again, every problem might not have all 4 steps, but these are the things you want to look for first. Look for the distributive property. Look for combining like terms. Then look for using addition and subtraction to get the variables to one side and the constants to the other side. And then last, look to use multiplication or division to isolate the variable. So let's use these steps on this equation, this example here. So the first thing I want to do is the distributive property. That's what those arrows are for. All right, so negative 2 times 5x would give me negative 10x. Negative 2 times 4 would be negative 8. Negative 3 times negative 2 would give me positive 6x. Negative 3 times 10 would be negative 30. Keep your equal signs lined up. 5 times 2x would be 10x. 5 times 6 would be 30. Be careful here, this is a negative 1. Negative 1 times 7 would be negative 7x. Negative 1 times 5 would be negative 5. So right there, we just did step 1. We did the distributive property. Step 2 is to combine like terms. Now again, keep the sides separate. So in other words, I'm going to ignore the other side. So I'm going to box the x term here, box this x term here. I'm going to put squiggly lines under the constant terms here. So negative 10x plus 6 would give me negative 4x. Negative 8 minus 30 would be negative 38. Please make sure you're using your calculators. So let's put combine like terms. So I did the like terms on the left side of the equation. Now I need to do the same thing on the right side of the equation. Now I don't want to use the same symbols. So this time I'm going to circle, oops, let's try that again. circle my x term here, circle my x term there, and this time I'm going to use straight lines underneath my constant terms. All right, so 10x minus 7x would be 3x. Then 30 minus 5 would be positive 25. So that was step 2. Now, step 3 is going to be something we've never done before. So this is where you need to pay close attention. Step 3 says use addition and subtraction to move variable terms to one side of the equation and constant terms to the other side. Now, I'm going to do this in one step. Some people might teach you to do this in 2 steps. I'm going to teach you to do it in 1 step. Okay, so I want to take my variable term, the 3x, to the left side of the equation. So I want you to put it this. Let me zoom in here. I want you to draw that arrow like that. So I want to take the 3x to the left side of the equation by subtracting it. So I'm going to subtract 3x from this side, and I'm going to subtract 3x from this side. All right, now that allows me to cancel the 3x's. During that same step, I want to take the constant term to the right side of the equation. Since the constant term is a negative 38, I'm going to add 38 to both sides. And that allows me to cancel out the constant terms on this side. Oh, while you're at it, go ahead and draw an arrow like this. Okay, so that was the start to step 3. So now I actually have to simplify it. So negative 4x minus 3x is negative 7x. So I combine those to get the negative 7x there. And then 25 plus 38 is 63. I combine these. To get the 63. And that was step 3. Last step, isolate the variable by using the inverse operation. This right here is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7. They would cancel, and x equals negative 9. All right, what you need to do now, and that was step 4, sorry. Check that off. What you need to do now is pause your video and make sure you have everything written down. Everything. If you have any questions, please let me know.